Hey guys, welcome to Casual Corner Chat. I'm Luke.
I'm Jenny.
I'm Sam.
And today we will be bringing you the topic of bullying. All right. So, recently in my life, I've seen and heard bits and pieces of bullying. That's why I brought it today. Have you guys ever been bullied before, out of curiosity?
Straight answer, yes.
Ooh.
Oh, who needs to die tonight?
Was it Vu? You guys went to the same school. Was it Vu?
you, bro?
No.
Jesus Christ.
I remember being bullied in primary school and high school. Primary school was no. When I was in primary school, I was like one of, let's say, 5 to 6 Asians. So I think there was like the whole stereotype of, the eyes.
Was your primary school like in a very white suburb? Sorry, like a
Camptown, right?
We're in like southwest area. So yeah, definitely. I think it was like a mixture of like Caucasian, Indian, or very little Indian, and then very little of like Asian.
Really? That's
Yeah. Okay.
really interesting.
So it's quite not so diverse.
Yeah. I'm sure the demographic is like mad different now.
It definitely different now. Even when my sister went to that primary school, it had already changed as well. But yes, I just remember being very like bullied based on my ethnicity a lot.
Okay.
And then
Racism.
But was it
Yes.
because like you said that Asian people have like different eyes and stuff like that? But you don't have those kinds of features. I feel like you don't.
Yeah, I don't.
But they just pick on it,
I think
right?
I just got picked on. I was also wearing glasses, so that was something. And I guess I was like the nerd back in the days.
Yeah, 4 eyes.
Yes,
Like,
correct.
totally,
Like
yeah.
all
Could
of
do
that
math
stuff.
compared to everyone
Yeah.
else.
Yeah, just
Which is so true.
Yeah.
So that was one thing back in primary school. And then high school, I remember being bullied about my weight. Even though in perspective, I don't think you know.
I
too
know
much.
these people. So
Yeah,
like,
you do.
who needs the tonight, bro? I'm serious. You don't have to name names.
Yeah, I won't name names.
After.
I will after.
We can bleep it
yeah.
out. We always bleep it out.
Okay, yeah.
I want to know.
Yeah, okay, I'll bleep it out. Do you remember?
Oh, yep, I never fucking liked him.
Yeah, like-
I fucking hated him always from
Yeah.
the get-go.
100%. Same.
Piece.
Like and
I feel so
subscribe, you guys,
vindicated.
and we'll release the
I
name.
feel so fucking vindicated.
Yeah.
No one could understand why I hated him. I'm like, I knew it.
Oh, I hated him through and through
that's-
from year
vindication.
7 onwards.
What? So he would like
No, so there was a situation where we kind of
He was a rat. I will say that.
okay, we're getting deep. No, I just remember we kind of had a thing in year 7 that didn't last very long. Then I just remember him talking about my weight and then hearing it from other people saying that he was calling me like fat.
Was he a stick or something?
He was pretty skinny back then, I guess, but it was in my perspective now, I don't think I was that.
No,
That-
I never thought you were that, bro.
But if I compare, I'm definitely lighter than I was then.
Yeah.
But I just remember being stuck with that, and then that kind of didn't. It just kept fueling my like body consciousness, especially because I kind of liked him, and then to hear that from someone. So yeah, that was
What a bitch.
a constant, I guess, issue growing up. Yeah.
all throughout high school or just like the early? Like, did you stop doing it?
Sorry.
Did you stop bullying you?
Yeah.
Calling you?
Like he
that stuff?
didn't say that many times, but I think it just stuck with me.
Yeah. Okay.
And then
Okay.
Especially at that age, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a lot of health issues formed from that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. But yeah, just that kind of bullying. Yeah. Yeah.
Can you list one of your health issues? Otherwise, you don't have to.
No, there was periods of time where I didn't eat at all during the day.
Yeah. Well, fuck you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real, bro. Yeah. Watch
There-
out for your kneecaps, man. Oh, don't sleep tonight. I swear to God.
Damn, okay.
I'm so angry
It's-
right now.
No,
Get flagged.
people change.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that stuck with
Unless
me.
he's still the same. Then
Nice change.
No, he's
Oh,
not
he
in
has?
our lives anymore, but I would have no idea. Yeah.
Good.
It's not in your lives anymore because it's dead to you.
nice.
We'll be actually
Yeah.
dead soon, though, right? So it's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I feel like I've always just been picked on based on my size and just my personality for some reason.
Wait,
I'm
so-
always
so
like,
for being like too small and also like
I'm always
overweight.
teased about
is it?
my height and stuff like that. I don't know if
Okay,
it's
yeah.
like bullying, but
But yeah, sometimes
people
it'll be like
mention it.
fun, right?
Yeah, like
Same.
it's like an easy thing to target me
yeah.
with. But I wouldn't consider it bullying because it is obvious that I'm not that tall. But yeah,
No, it depends, right?
yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Jenny and Vu?
Okay. I don't remember being bullied as a kid much from like my peers. And even during high school, I feel like I wasn't bullied at all, which is why, like when kids say that they're bullied nowadays, I feel like I sort of feel like they need to just go through it, and then that'll like
Touching more on this
Character.
after. I know that look about your face.
that'll build character on them, because I think kids nowadays are a little bit too
Like babied.
cushioned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get. I know what you're thinking, especially your very liberal ways. We'll get to that.
I get where you're coming from, but I think I'm also on this side. So I'm curious, but keep going. Yes.
But I do feel like the tough love that my parents gave me could be considered that like kind of bullying.
Oh, interesting. Wow.
But I don't know.
Okay, Vu, and then myself, and then we'll get to the whole shebang.
yes.
Yeah, I think kind of same. I don't think I was really bullied, weirdly enough, because I'm so bullyable. But I mean, there's a lot
Gonna
of
take
things,
your lunch
right?
buddy
Like,
later.
if you think about it, but I think I've always been like self-effacing, so it's like it's not. You know, I would kind of, if anything, like there was a large and very prolonged period of time where I was my own bully, you know?
Yeah.
That's just called like self-hatred, right? But like that's, I think a lot of people, people in my life, I never really received that much ire, I guess. But I would look in the mirror and I would not like what I see, you know? And
Really?
I think a lot of it came from that, if anything. Yeah. Yeah. What are you looking at?
For me, we're kind of similar to Sam. Like, I wasn't bullied, but I was a very fat kid growing up. Yeah. And it would be jokes. Like, I would lean into it. Like, the younger kids in my other grade would call me Buddha because I'm Asian and I was a bit round. Like, I leaned into it. Like, I just like, yeah, proud. Like, I'm round. Yeah, big, whatever.
yeah,
Just
okay.
lean into everything and all that.
Is that just to cope though?
Yeah, I guess so. And like even in
Sad.
primary school, I was one of 3 of the fattest kids in my in the high school, plus my year group, my class.
Really?
Yeah, I was a fat kid.
There's a photo of you right now opposite us.
That's year 4.
I don't think you were that big.
I don't think you were that big.
But you
I
can't
think
see.
that's
you
a
can't
regular
see him down,
kid.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. I was skinny
What?
fat.
It's not like you'll be like even
No,
bigger.
no, exactly. No,
Yeah,
I was honest.
Can
I was
be.
yeah, I was skinny
What do
fat.
you mean?
So it's like arms and face, I look skinny, but stomach wise,
Yeah.
inner body wise, I was
Everyone
fat.
gets it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I got my thick thighs. But anyways, but yeah, like it wouldn't be directly bullying, but like yeah, everyone would make jokes on it, and some of it would stick sometimes, like the constant of it throughout
Yeah.
the years. And
Of course.
like no offense, like on Jenny's point, sometimes that kind of bullying is good because I'm healthier.
Jeez. Sorry.
Hey, no, like, look, I'm healthier. I got fit because of it.
Yeah, I get that.
And that was my motivation, right? Because some people use bullying as a motivation to do better, to strive better. All right. It is not thin line. Is it a thin line?
I think it depends if it's.
it's on how you take it.
It's
I
a
think it
roundabout
depends.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it depends on the reasons why you're doing it. Like if it's to prove a point to someone, not so healthy. But if it's
Sounds like that's the case.
Yeah.
or if it's like
I'm no,
just
sorry,
for
not
personal
my
growth,
first.
then
I just
it's
said yeah for no
different.
reason.
Oh, okay.
But like as a point, it could be possible.
confusing.
It's
It's like a Freudian slip. You're just like, yeah, like I need to say yes. to this.
sorry, not me, but it is a possibility.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's also like the reason to work on yourself, like for your personal growth. So
Yeah.
But like you don't know that you're working on yourself for personal growth as a kid. You just want to look thinner.
But he's talking about it now. Like,
yeah. Well, now
even
obviously
back then, like
yeah.
I started in high school. I was like, look, I not happy with my look. It's like
okay.
let's start changing that. So
Yeah.
I like Sam. I started to eat less.
Yeah.
I picked the gym as an after school sport. Tried there and whatnot. Obviously, it wasn't consistent because I started taking it seriously when I was in uni. But still, it gave me a motivation. I walked more like every Thursday with my big backpack. I walked to school,
Yeah,
heads
no,
for
I get
carbs, and so forth. Like, yes, it's the wrong reason to get into it, but everyone has a reason to, like, for gym. Like, everyone has their own reason to go gym, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of it is to look better and be healthier, be stronger, whatever. And unfortunately, some of it is just because of bullying.
No, I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
Like, you get to the same result, but the way that you get there and the journey that you take is very different. But I think, yeah, you and I align on that, unfortunately.
The voice reasons, you're going to look like you're going to explode.
No, it's all right. Keep going, bro. It's fine.
No, that's pretty much it before we move into the next point.
Yeah, okay. Like, I think turning it into a positive force, I guess, is a good way to deal with something that is undeserved, because no one deserves to get bullied for like anything, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I guess like that's a very kind look into what you're talking about. Yeah.
As in, because it could go either way. Like,
No. As in, like that's making the best out of a bad situation.
Yeah.
Right. You got whatever, and then now you're going to use that as motivation to
Yeah.
be better. Right.
but it could, as in, it could go the other way, as in,
Yeah, there are
yeah,
heaps
it
of
could also-
extremes,
Yeah.
right?
Bad
Extremes.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
you know, if we're talking like bulimia, like that's not a chill thing to like have happened, right? Like, even though we might be healthier now, it doesn't mean we're like happier. You know, like it's a doing it for the wrong reasons, I think, would mean that there's no, like, it's harder to reach a goal. Does that make sense? Like a healthy goal, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like, if it, you know, like when at what point are you satiating that like part of your brain that tells you that you're too fat, that you're not good enough? Or,
True,
whereas,
like body
Yeah.
dysmorphia and so forth. Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. Like I do have that. Like
I sometimes
still
have
have
that
it,
too.
but
Yeah.
I think any of us who did gym have.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Dysmorphia.
They say that the longer you go to the gym, the worse your body dysmorphia gets.
absolutely.
Wow.
Right. Because you're like, oh, I'm not big enough. Oh, this is not right. That's right. Wrong. Doesn't help with
You're
my.
also just surrounded by like
Yeah,
just
exactly.
beautiful people, bro.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Yeah, and you're
Health
comparing
conscious.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And
That's true.
Yeah. In other words, gym is a toxic place. Right? Gym is a toxic place. We're our own worst enemy when it comes to it, right?
yeah.
But yes. But yeah, what I was going to say is, we'll go to the next point. Do you guys think you ever been the bully? Honestly. You nodded your head just for like the audio.
yeah. I nodded. I guess back in primary, like to paint a picture, there's always a kid that like did the Naruto run in school.
Oh yeah, my school.
You know what I mean? There's always one, right?
Yeah. My U group.
Is that the with the hands?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
With
yeah,
the
yeah,
hands
yeah.
and the
Okay,
running,
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry.
And that is like, that person doesn't do that in a vacuum. Like that part of their personality is like thinking that, you know, certain elements of anime is real. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Did you know what I'm saying?
No.
In geek real lifeism,
Yeah.
Okay.
they wish a part of anime life is their life.
Interesting.
Like they could be the next Ash Ketchum or something.
Okay.
Reality. Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
Okay,
Like
keep
they
going then.
get in
Keep
like
going.
a fight and then they shout something from like an anime and
And
it's
they
just like,
believe
bro,
they have
really?
that. They give
That
it
power and shit.
Yeah.
I see.
So I do feel bad about this. Yeah, I think that there was that one kid, and I guess like the group think that sort of happens when you're a kid. You know what I mean? When like one person bullies this kid, and then
Everyone
you see,
was, sorry.
yeah, you just pile on basically. So that happened in primary
Lovely.
school. I did apologize to that person. Sort of in high school after the fact, messaged them on Facebook Messenger, apologized. I felt bad. Whether or not that was more for me or for them,
It's a whole different thing.
it
Yeah.
was a whole different thing. But they said thank you, and then we left it at that, and that was it. So that was my experience being the bully,
What about you, Sam?
and also to myself. But that's the thing.
Personally, from my memory, I don't think I've been because I feel like I've always been on the receiving end of it. Yeah. So because I've been on the receiving end of it, I didn't feel obviously that it was right to do that to someone else. Yeah. So I don't think I have.
Johnny?
Well, okay. I think in year 7, it would be like me talking with a friend, and there'd be another like friend there as well, and then me and friend A would like laugh and like make a joke, and then friend B would be like, "Hey, what are you guys talking about?" And then I'd be like, "Oh, don't worry about it."
Yeah.
So I wouldn't let them in,
Yeah.
and like I think reflecting on it, I would think that that's not right, and I
Yeah.
would sort of count that as bullying.
Yeah.
Because she wanted to know, she just wanted to be part of the
You're
group,
just, like, leaving
and
her
I just
out
like
on
left her
purpose.
out of that,
Yeah.
and I
And,
felt,
and
I
that's
feel
not
bad,
that
yeah.
wasn't like one incident, right? Like that was
No, it'd be like multiple incidences
yeah,
throughout the
okay.
year. It wouldn't just be like one. Yeah,
like a cattiness that like exists.
yeah. I don't know. I just, or maybe like I just didn't want to explain things because I couldn't be bothered, or like maybe I was like
So you might not
maybe
have
I was
bad
even
intentions,
like yeah, or maybe I was a bit possessive of my friend, like I just wanted her to myself.
Yeah.
So then I didn't want like
You didn't
another
want to
friend.
include anyone else.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I don't know, but yeah, I think it's important to like explain my experiences so that maybe the viewers or listeners can maybe reflect and see if they did anything similar. Because it doesn't really seem like bullying, but it is sort of bullying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, like, yeah, I think I probably have been, I guess, in a situation like that before. But I wouldn't consider it bullying because I didn't leave them out on purpose. I think it's just maybe something that they didn't really need to, because I didn't maybe want to gossip at that point and share that. So then that's why I refrained.
Okay.
But not saying that I don't gossip because it happened.
Gossiping's fun.
It happens in high school. You gossip, and then
We do it here.
yeah. And then, exactly,
This is
exactly.
a podcast.
Yeah,
Are you
and-
bio gossiping?
Yeah, and so some people might think that if we're gossiping, that might be considered bullying. But yeah,
Well,
And what about you, Luke?
I've had time to think about it.
Oh.
Generally, I would say I'm an all right person throughout high school and primary school, but I can recall moments where I've been a bit of a dickhead. Example A, I remember in year 5, there was this girl. She was particularly bossy, and
oh my god.
Okay, well,
that was me.
did she just get what
That
she
was
deserved?
probably
I'm sorry.
me.
no, like she was like generally a nice girl. Like calling, she's generally a nice girl. But I remember just calling her. I was like, "Oh, you're so mean." I was like, "Why do you have to be mean to everyone?" And then she walked off and cried.
Oh, but
Oh,
that,
that
doesn't
honestly
sound like
does sound like
bullying.
me. I was
Sorry?
so sensitive.
Well, actually, I don't think that sounds like bullying.
Anyway,
just like
we'll go on to
But,
exhibit
like,
B.
wait, but how many times did you do it?
No, like,
Did you
I think-
say that in front of everyone?
No. We were in class and we were like,
So you were in class. There were other
Yeah.
people who heard it.
possibly,
Yeah.
maybe. But
So
anyways,
that-
like that's one of
But
like,
like he didn't intend on other people hearing, right?
Well, if
probably,
you yelled
I
it,
don't know.
Or
I was
did
like,
you yell
if
it?
you yelled it,
No,
then
I think there needs to be a consistency with bullying.
Yeah, I think
Right?
repeated events.
Being a
All right,
dick.
all right.
once.
So
Okay.
we'll go to the next exhibit.
Oh, gosh.
Exhibit B in high school. I got called out for it because the guy didn't like it and he just told me right away. But I don't know why I did it, but I kept calling him a dumbass because he was just doing stupid things.
Okay.
okay.
And he called at me out and was like, "Oh, it's like, can you not say that?" And it was like actually upset. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why. I just like instinctively said it."
Many
And-
times.
Yeah, a few times. And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry." And then I never brought it up again. So I fixed up on that. But then there was Exhibit C.
Oh my god, why?
Exhibit C. Okay, so this one is going to go on to our other topics. It was a whole year group thing. Like our entire group was in on it. Like there's this person, right, and we gave him a nickname. We didn't need it because he was the only person with that name in the entire year group. It was just we just gave him a nickname because apparently it started from when he was in primary school and it just led into high school, and everyone kept calling him that.
What was this nickname?
Emma, because it's his initials, MR, right?
Okay.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
just all called him Emma.
Yep.
Right. And I guess it just got to a boiling point for him. And apparently he had an outburst in class. And I wasn't in his class, I don't think. But we got sat down by the year coordinator, like our group. Because remember, without my year group and our friends, we were together by ethnicity. Like all the Asians were called, right? And my teacher was like, so there was an incident you may have heard. And guess what happened? And the year coordinator was like, I asked this person, has anyone been bullying you or something like that? I can't remember exact specifics. And he said yes. And I asked him who it was. And what he said was my friends was bullying me. And then we're like, oh. And then all of us clicked on the head and was like, oh, maybe he didn't appreciate it this entire time. And all this stuff that we've been saying to him and all that, like, we're part of a friend group, but we just didn't realize it was bullying at the time. Does that make sense?
Oh, okay.
That can happen for sure.
But is that like what boys do in high school? I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like my high school is a bit of an outlier due to how sheltered we are and how we're only friends due to ethnicity. Does it make sense? So I can't like compare it with other schools because I feel like other boys' schools and all that, they're a bit different. They're very you're friends due to what you like rather than based on your background.
Yeah.
But that's because you had multiple different ethnicities in your high school.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all the Asians stuck together. All the Lebanese.
That was like us, though.
Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Even in a college
But still,
school.
like, it wasn't like we had one big and only one Asian group. Like, you guys probably have mini circles of
Yes.
Asian groups and all
Yeah.
that, yes. But also a bit different because we were just stuck due to ethnicity.
Okay.
Yeah? That makes sense?
So did
Yeah.
did race become an issue? Like, did it?
No.
No,
It
okay.
was just the Asians that got sat down. It's like, oh, this person was getting bullied.
Okay.
They said that it was their friends that was bullying
And that
them.
person was Asian.
And it's just the collective Asian group.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like, it came up to me today. I'm like, yeah, I was a bit of a bully then. So yeah, Exhibit C, you guys. Anyways, but yeah. Thoughts?
I kind of think that is like just what guys do in high school.
It's like a fine line sometimes, I think.
And like you immediately apologize and you didn't even know that was your intention to.
But I think that's
I feel
pretty
like-
common with bullying, though.
I feel like it's on a small scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's mine, like how I felt with being labeled fat and all that, and Sam being labeled whatever. It's just the person who's being bullied receives it negatively, and it just adds on and adds on, builds
Yeah.
up. Especially in a period where we're developing and all, we don't know our place in the world, and
Yeah.
with the people that we see every single day and how they label us, we start to believe that, yeah, if they think that's true, then maybe they are right. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
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 And it just morphs our perception, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, yeah.
But I think that's pretty common for a situation where the bullies don't realize like what they're doing is actually hurting the other person unless that person, I guess, verbalizes it or expresses it.
Yeah,
hard.
'cause I hear stories from like Julian and from his high school, and it seems much more intense than what you did.
Yeah.
But they're still friends. They like
Yeah, I think
they're-
that's
but it's like
that's-
but what they did was more intense, like decking
Yeah.
people or like
What, sorry?
like pulling their pants down and like
decking.
and like
decking.
and like
Sorry, I didn't hear that. Yeah.
and like keeping their clothes and like have them walk around in their underwear. That's extreme, right? In my opinion.
Yeah. That's
But
true.
they're
Yeah.
friends, they're mates now. It's like whatever to them.
Yeah.
But I would count that as like bullying.
Yeah.
Fair enough. That makes sense.
I think it's the way that person views it, right?
Yeah.
Whether or not they
Yeah,
probably
well, obviously he did find it bullying because
Yeah.
I think he said that he was crying at the end, but like they somehow became friends.
okay.
Like there's like the classic bullying of like malintent, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like you like push you down, give me your money, like that type of thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you
And
see on the
then-
news kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then there's just like you do because you're a kid, you know?
Yeah.
That you're just like whole moving in the world and you're learning stuff to become a better person, right? That's the whole point of school, right?
Yeah.
And but yeah, like you guys are right. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter the intent, it's like how the person receives it.
Yeah.
And so if they viewed it as
100%.
bullying, then like that's what it was.
Yeah.
But I think that there's obviously scales, right? Because yeah, that is like at the end of the scale, like
Quite
you know.
different, yeah.
And then like unintentionally calling a friend this nickname
Yeah.
that you probably didn't know that they didn't like, and they probably only didn't speak out because they're afraid to like do that to a group because that just leads to more bullying. You know, hey guys, don't call me this, and then you know they just get more bullied. So yeah, it's just, it exists at two different ends, and I think it's. I don't know. Like as long as you stop doing it, fixed and apologize, like that's fine. It sounds like you did that, so it's all good. I don't know if that what happened in Julian's case, but you know.
Well, not that he did it. He just like,
Yeah.
scolded
Like
you.
I just
Yeah.
apologized
Yeah.
to him, like
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and it was all good. Like no,
Probably, I don't know.
No, yeah, I just wanted to see what you guys, if you guys had your own experiences of bullying and so forth, and being the third party, the actual bullier, or
Bully.
being bullied. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I also, as another thing to Jenny's point, like I got like sack whacked like in high
yeah.
school, but that's just like a thing that boys do as well.
Yeah, that is
Yeah,
true.
exactly.
Like because I did the same to the other guy, and like we're mates, like you know.
Yeah.
But that's just like assault, like
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah. There's, I guess, like,
Perspective, yes.
Yeah.
no, I lost my thought. Oh, okay. All right. So, is there any justification for bullying?
No, I know you got something locked and loaded, bro.
Well, on Jenny's previous
gosh.
point.
Oh, God, I don't think there's justification.
No,
Like,
yeah,
I don't
no,
think. I don't think.
Yeah,
Sorry. I'm jumping on a wrong point and
gosh.
choosing the wrong thing. But not saying there's any justification. Bullying is bad. All right.
I'm glad.
I don't want to say buts because it just changed everything. But it's just like we talked about how trauma is a mechanism to grow.
Yes.
And example, me with like wanting to be better. For high school, yes, it's not needed, but it's a good mechanism for growing.
I don't think
And building character.
I don't think good is the right word.
Yeah, good. Is
Yeah,
not right.
it is a
It is a mechanism. Let's
for
just leave it at that.
personal
I wouldn't
growth.
say good.
Yeah. You come out strong on the other side, you be better, you do better. If you come out on the other side. Because we all do know that there's situations where, like you see it on the news in America, kid brings a gun to school, shoots everyone down because of excessive bullying, or the S word that I'm pretty sure we're not allowed to say on this,
Yeah.
but won't be here next day.
Yes.
Oh,
Right.
okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
jeez.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking slut. How does that relate?
That we could say.
We're on the same wavelength.
You said
I got you.
bullies right here.
Oh gosh. Oh. Yes.
But yeah, like there are extremes.
Yeah.
But like I said, it is a mechanism for personal development. Yeah.
You can say that though because you've
Because I
undergone
am a
that.
result.
I can say that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can agree with that.
But for you two,
I agree. Well, no, I will. I feel like my parental trauma is bullying, as I mentioned earlier, and I feel like that has built me up into a more resilient person. And resilient is a word I learned in like primary school, how they did like the resilient workshops.
Oh, cute. Okay.
Yeah.
Can
They
you
would
expand
do-
on that? I don't think we.
No,
They would like teach you the word resilient and what that meant and like how you can
that's very
build
nice.
resilience. Like we had a whole
That
class on it or
kind of
something.
does sound familiar.
yeah. I think
Yeah.
we did it in religion. Or I did a religion. So it might be different.
Oh,
That makes
Oh.
sense.
that
Okay.
does
That
make
makes sense in the
actually.
context of religion.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
actually does.
yeah, so I feel like I have built on that, but much of that trauma still exists. Because like Chinese people are like, oh, you're fat, but it's like, or Asian people. I'd be like, even you guys
Asians,
would
yeah.
experience it, like you're fat.
aunt
As
is
from
just
an
like,
aunt.
"You're
Yeah,
fatter than
exactly.
last year."
Exactly, but like they can feed you all the food that they want, right? Like what? It doesn't make any sense.
And when you're skinny, you're like, "Why are you so skinny? Why isn't your mom feeding you?
Exactly.
What do you want from me?"
So both sides.
It
Yeah.
just doesn't make
Sorry,
any
that was
sense.
a-
It's like
so
very
true.
No,
confusing.
because deep down.
Yeah, deep.
It's just very confusing as a kid, right? Because you don't know what they
Yeah.
want and you don't know like what. But I feel like it's just a thing that people say now, like to comment on what you look like, rather than like what it actually means, and rather than them thinking about how
The
you feel about
implications
it.
of the-
Yes,
yeah.
it's just them saying it because that's probably what they received.
Yeah.
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 It's a pretty common thing to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
when you
And so I do feel like I still feel that trauma nowadays with my weight and whatnot. But I think I'm in a healthier headspace where I'm like, I look healthy. I am healthy. There is no need for me to be a lower weight.
Sick. Yeah.
So you've
Yeah.
like
Nice.
adjusted your perspective.
But then I still get like the
it comes in waves.
it comes with
dysmorphia.
body dysmorphia. Like I
Yeah.
want to be skinny. I want to look hot. I want to be a hot bitch. That kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah. Same, bro.
Yeah.
But okay, wait. Just as an aside, like earlier this year, you said you had some like health weight goals.
Yeah.
Did that come from that space?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are you happy with where you are now? Then.
I'd say like 65%.
Nice.
Okay.
Halfway there.
It's getting there.
Good.
But I don't know if I'll ever be happy with the way that I look, whether I'm my weight now or whether I do lose weight and get to like
So that's what
the
you're
goal
saying,
that I
yeah,
want to
so
be.
true, yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I'll ever be in the right mind space 100%.
Yeah.
And that's probably because I grew up this way and like grew up humble, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Like I'll never brag about.
Your accomplishments.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And V?
I recently met someone like who got bullied in like uni, and it's been like like almost a decade or something later, and they still haven't gotten over it.
Sorry, what? What do they do in uni?
No, they got bullied in uni.
They got bullied in uni. Oh.
And that no,
Who?
I'm not. After.
Do you, what kind of form of bullying?
I think like from a friend group said something like not nice, but like from their friends basically.
But like consistently?
Yeah, yeah, consistently.
Okay.
And I like she still hasn't really gotten over that.
Did she confront them?
No.
Talk to them?
Yeah.
Not for a girl to do that in uni.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Anyone really. Yeah.
Yeah.
It sort of just like exists there, and
Yeah.
it's like that sucks, right?
Yeah.
But look, like my stance on it is like there's no perfect utopian world where like there's no bullying that ever happens, right? It's like for your own child, you just should give them the tools to learn how to like get through that,
To navigate that.
And not necessarily to turn it into like some motivating force, but more just like people talk and people are dumb, try not to listen,
Yeah.
type stuff.
And to be a nice person.
Right?
as
Yeah.
well.
It's like not to like utilize that as like some fundamental driver, but just like set it aside. It's easier said than done, obviously.
Of course.
But I think like saying that it's necessary, like I don't with that, but saying that it exists and it can drive some people, fine. But limiting it is like nice, right? Because you get some people who like never get over it, right? Like they can't get over that particular block or never used it for good or just can't or whatever. So like it can lead to something bad or it can just stay and it just fester, It just like stays in their life like permanently and just doesn't go away. And it just affects them and how they interact with people and stuff like that. It's just not great.
Yeah, of course. Not.
And so like it can't always have that positive effect. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Great. Like if it didn't, then, if it did have that positive effect, we wouldn't be seeing all this school stuff that's always on the news and whatnot.
But is that like in America mostly?
I mean, we still have
here
it here.
too.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's
But
just
to less of an extreme, I feel like, because Americans.
I wouldn't say that. I think it's just because they have guns over there.
Yeah.
But it's still pretty.
But isn't that
prevalent.
an extreme?
It is an extreme, but there's the S word here all the time.
But like the bullying isn't the gun thing, right? It's like that's the consequence to the
that's
bullying.
the consequence.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
like you hear like what do you call it? Like a parent gets involved because their kid is getting bullied and all that, and they pretty much bash up the kid. Like that happened last year, I think, and some similar event happened this year. That was in Melbourne, I think it was. But yeah, like it happens. It's just sometimes we don't see it and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you just hear like news from the US a lot more often than you do here.
Yeah.
Look, my instinct, or just in the media as well, but my instinct is to think that like the US is more, like they do have like that whole fraternity culture and all that sort of stuff, which is like hazing in general. You know what I mean? Just that's just more of a thing in the US. And
that could lead to excessive bullying. Like
yeah,
the
I mean
stuff
that is
do.
bullying, right? But it's just like I had to go through this, so do you?
Yeah.
Like, it's like generational shit. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Ah, nice. So I wanted to talk about my 2 stories. Story number 1. So this is a
I thought the exhibit.
Yeah,
A
more
that
stories.
was my reflecting of my previous life.
Okay.
These
On your
stories don't not my previous life, but old Luke, fatter Luke, round Luke. That one.
yeah, he's fine. He's still valid, bro. That boy still needs love, man. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyways, so it happened at work and workplace bullying, right? So we got brought up to our department that there's been bullying in the workplace. And
Oh, you had a whole meeting.
I'm quite
yeah,
curious
we had a
about
whole
this.
meeting. Yeah, we
Oh.
had a whole meeting. Like we knew it wasn't in our department because like we're all good and all that. And the funny thing, the second like the meeting ended, we all started accusing each other. You're a bully, honest with you. I knew it and all that. Like we just joke around. Like I
Is that
found
a good
out.
way to? Is
That's
that a
super
good?
serious thing that turned into
Yeah,
a
I know.
joke.
Is that a
I
good way to
know.
respond? I'm
Nah,
not
it's
sure.
just a fact of it bringing us about it, like because everyone knows, like all the departments know we're a tight team, and like getting informed about it.
Yep.
Like I found out the actual story of what happened
Okay.
and the different views of it.
Are you able to say this for like legal reasons right now? I just need to stop you.
No, that one of the people don't work there anymore.
Okay, but are you?
No, I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
I'm good.
legally.
I'm
Okay,
good. Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Sweet,
It,
sweet.
it doesn't relate to the actual.
Yeah. Okay.
He
Okay.
hasn't
Sure.
mentioned
Yeah.
Yeah.
any details yet.
Should I stop now?
Yes.
But
It became a HR problem, right?
But it
Like
was
the-
mainly like we all discussed about it, like as just our team and just talking amongst ourselves and gossiping as well and hearing the actual story. But the thing is, like sometimes a new person, right, joins the group team and they don't know the vibe, and sometimes they expect a vibe. Does that make sense? And they end up feeling like excluded from everything.
Yeah.
And they take that as bullying. So that's what happened. Like you got all these older people who don't know the new person and reluctant to talk to them, and especially when everyone's working, but you don't really have time to work. But that new person still felt after a bit like no one was talking to them. It's a bit of bullying, especially if they're working with the same people all the time and whatnot. But sometimes due to perception of like age and how long you've worked there, you don't think it's a thing. It's just a natural thing. Does that make sense?
So they felt segregated, and they
reported it.
yes, and they kind of had ideas on why they were being segregated based on age and all these other factors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of an Australian thing, very cliquey. But that's not their fault because they didn't realize, but they should have been open to being more social, I guess, especially to a new person joining the team.
I think
they should have been
it's
open.
More probably
at
just
least.
trying to understand the perspective of the other people and reaching to them to understand like how they are,
But how are
rather
they?
than making an assumption that they're segregating them.
Yeah.
From that.
I think there's more to the story. I feel like if I wasn't,
There has to be, I guess, actions and
I think
things
it
like
has
that
to be a big
for
enough
them
reason to go to HR.
Yes.
Right. Like
Yeah.
If it's just like they sit over there and I sit over here for lunch, it's like that's not.
Yeah, I think there
kinda
has
who
to be
cares,
more
right?
things that led up to that point for them
Yeah.
to have, because going to HR is a big step.
Yeah, especially if you're new, you don't want to make waves, right?
100%.
So it has to be like a thing before
Yeah.
you're like, hey,
Yeah,
you know.
and it can't just be all in their head. it has to be like actionable, I think, for you to, I guess, go to HR and present that case.
True.
Right?
That's my instinct. That's my instinct.
That's how
feel like
I
there's
would.
missing information here.
Yeah, that's how I
Well,
would.
that's the first time that they reported it. They reported it a second time later on.
okay.
But things happened between those 2 points,
Okay.
which
Escalated?
it escalated, and like that person ended up.
Leaving?
No, they got let go, but everyone like it was counter reports. It's like, oh, these people bullying me, but all these other accounts came up against this person. It's like, no, that's not true. This is what they did instead.
Okay.
And it was like, oh, they're talking about private information that wasn't there. It was gossiping and whatnot.
Wait, so it was the other way around?
So it reversed the situation. Like that person technically became the bully.
Wait, so who do we know who's the truth?
Yeah.
I'll say the countless other people, like the rest.
I know, but if the rest is all in a group, then they would have the same account.
Or smaller groups. Like even...
Oh, okay.
Does it make sense?
So there was different witnesses
Yeah. Different witnesses and whatnot.
for this one person?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah. It's
So it
just,
kind of backfired,
Yes. Kind of.
kind of.
Yes.
Okay.
Wait, I've really been in the same situation at work where like the new person like said that they were like kind of being excluded and stuff, which wasn't
The
really
case.
what was happening. Yeah. But then like things started popping up where like you kind of identified that they're the problem, you know? Yeah, weird. Okay, like speaking from like someone on the other side of that, it's like there are people who I guess are more sensitive, but are also just genuinely like they're the issue.
Yeah, like sometimes, like honestly, like sometimes people
Yeah.
tend to victimize themselves. Like there was this one guy, same workplace. He started and he literally had, honestly, nice guy man. He literally had like a resting bitch face, like same emotion throughout. Like it was a joke with one of the girls. She was one of the girls, or some of her. A joke with a few of the girls. Like they were trying to get him to smile because that's just how bad it is. And
Okay.
he ended up like not staying with us, but we found out that the reason why he was like that, he thought everyone was out to get him. Like everyone had a thing against him. But
It's like a
Like in
mental,
the world?
It's a mental health
in
thing.
the warehouse or in the place that we worked at. Like
Okay.
every single person that worked there had something against him.
That's a mental health issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like
And
paranoia.
like, yes, he did open it up, but that's the first thought he had when he entered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we all agree it's like you have to be able to break that barrier first, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, some people can be quiet, but if you don't try to reach out, and if you
Yeah,
end
I
up
mean-
like being so closeted and don't want to talk to anyone, yeah, fair enough. We'll let you be. We'll try, but we'll let you be.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there's some way. But yeah, that's what
Yeah,
happened.
there's always an element of like needing to fit in, right? Because that's kind of the work culture, right? Whether or not it's like a toxic work culture is a different thing, but like you do have to like put in the effort, you know. I think some people might not be ready for that. I don't know. It sounds like that was that in the particular case.
Yeah, there are some people at work who just go into work and then just leave work and
Yeah,
don't mind not
that's
interacting
fine.
with
I
people.
was one of those
Exactly, yeah.
people.
Yeah, exactly. And so it really stems from what, I guess, like your experience that you want from work and whether or not you're going to, I guess, go through, like, no, sorry, like put yourself in opportunities where you want to be more involved.
Yeah.
But there are some people who don't, which is completely fine.
Exactly. Yeah, because I just remembered the story, and then it's just like, oh, sometimes people end up victimizing themselves. And they feel like they're being bullied, but sometimes that's not the case, and so forth. But yeah,
So they play the victim card even though they're not the victim.
and they ended up
that
being the
happens.
victim and backfired on them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that does happen.
All right. Any other thoughts, you guys? No? Yeah? All right, on to situation number 2. I shouldn't be that very motivated about
I'm
that.
so happy about this.
But it was between a few kids. One of the kids, he's a very timid boy. And
This is at your workplace. Sorry. No.
I can't label. I can't say it.
Like,
Yeah, just in general.
In general, yeah.
You saw 2 kids.
Witnessing, yeah. And this is a very timid boy and so forth. And there was this another kid who's very outspoken, very extroverted, and talks his mind out, whatever. And the issue is, the case was the timid boy. He didn't know how to say no, or didn't know how to like, oh, this is a new boy. I don't know what to do. What can I do? And this boy was very forward and was like, oh, is that food? Oh, can I have some? This and that. And in the end, the timid boy ended up telling their parents, and parents got involved and so forth, right? And I guess my whole point about this story is due to personality between an introvert and an extrovert. Does that make sense? Because someone can be very overbearing and don't mean it. And then there's some who, like we said, either not victimized in this case, but are unfamiliar to this situation. They feel uncomfortable and they feel like it's getting pressured and bullying and whatnot. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense.
So the kid that was pressured told his parents
Yeah,
that
like-
he was getting bullied
Yeah, like this.
because he couldn't say.
I
yeah.
think at that age, the definition of bullying is so vague because they're still learning
Yeah.
in general, right? They're still learning about the world and how to react and act and respond. So I think it's only natural that he would have gone to his parents because he felt a certain way and wanted to express that. Whether or not he said it was bullying is a whole different thing. Because I don't know at what age they teach you about bullying, because I'm pretty sure they teach you about bullying in
I mean, pretty early on.
yeah. So, but I think at that age, they're still developing, right? So they're still trying to understand the concept of bullying.
Okay.
So
this
makes sense.
brings us on to my next topic. As possible future parents and whatnot, what would you do in the case where your kid is getting bullied?
Wait, so your story's done? That was
We'll use it as an example.
it? Okay.
In this
In
case,
that example,
Yeah.
if
In
my
this
child
example.
came to me
Yeah.
and was like, hey, this kid is taking things from me, but I'm not saying no to him taking these things to me. I'd probably just understand the kid's point of view a little bit more. I probably don't need to go to the other kid or like alert
The parents.
the parents of the other kid.
Or the school.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
the school. Yeah, just trying to tell him what the situation is in my eyes and have him understand what my understanding of it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would start there too. But if it is a reoccurrence or if it's something that I can see my child not handling it quite well, then I'd probably, if my child was close to that child as well, like if they were friends, then I'd probably interact with the parents and understand what's
But
happening there.
would you tell your child to say no first?
Yeah, of course.
Or what if they
think-
just can't, like their personality just doesn't allow them to say no ever? Like, would you then
I don't think
go
that's
to,
a thing.
because
You don't know what kids do.
I know, but I think I would still tell my child to express and understand the concept of no.
okay,
Yeah.
because adding on to the story, like the overbearing kid was asking like, oh, can I have some food, whatnot. Another kid asked the timid boy for food, and the kid just gave it to him, and it's like, you just come, you know, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyways,
Yeah, I still.
I mean,
still
yeah,
would-
like I think for me, like I would validate the kid's feelings. So like the kid is like, people are pressuring me to give them my food. I don't want to do that. That's like, okay, cool. Like you're allowed to not want that. But what you should do and what you need to learn is like the concept of boundaries, right? It's like you validate the kid's feelings and then you kind of teach them, the idea that you can say no if you don't want or like people doing these
if you
things.
don't feel comfortable with doing that.
Yeah, but turn into a teacher moment, you know what I mean? And then kind of, because ascertain the sort of whole thing and figure out if it's like genuinely bullying or like if
Yeah, if it's a
just
serious
your kid
matter.
is having a reaction to something that they're unprepared to do, right? And this is something to grow from, or like, do I need to actually step in and like have someone else involved, right? And in this particular case, it's just like, you got to learn how to say no when you don't want to do something.
Yeah.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh wait, you know the point how you said you wanted to meet the boy's parents? That's a big no-no. It's never good to let parents meet each other.
That's like escalating
Yeah.
the situation, right?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. And it is a big thing I heard in Asian culture for parents to meet each other's parents.
Yeah.
But let's say if the kid has the kid that's bullying your kid has a bad background, right? Like dad's abusive and whatnot.
I have a different perspective, but continue.
And you want to talk to that parent and they are violent and whatnot and they're defensive about their kid and like say something said like, oh, you're teaching him poorly, that can go into a whole extreme. Like it is an extreme, but it's something that
Would they already find out through like school?
yeah, it will be mediated as through school as much
right.
as possible, right?
Yeah.
To the
But
point
then-
it won't get to extent.
I know, but the school would still tell the kid's parents, "Hey, your kid is doing this." Not that the school will blame the parent,
Yeah,
but the
yeah.
parent will then know,
Yeah.
and then if the parent is violent, they will continue to do whatever violent things they do at home.
That would be too extreme sense if a kid like does something very extreme, I would say. But it would be
Oh, you mean-
mediated to a huge extent. Like this
Can I just say?
Yep.
I would only interact with that parent if my kids were friends. Like if the kids were friends, like playing in the same group, and one child is acting that way, and it's escalating, and like they're close, the
Okay.
parents should be
Yeah.
close.
If you already
as
knew
well.
outside.
Correct.
Then,
I would
yeah,
only
fair enough.
intervene in that respect.
Yeah.
My initial reaction is not to involve the parents because that's just going to make a bigger deal of things. Yeah, but if it's like our kids interacting, then I would have a
Out of
chat.
curiosity, what would you do if your kids didn't get along and hated each other with a passion?
Like our kids.
Yeah.
No.
Never thought about this.
Yeah.
But kids like
Just
each other
hang
based
out
on
with-
nothing, though. You know.
Yeah, we just put them in a
Without
room,
your kids.
I mean,
give them something that they both like, and they'll be fine.
And it's like, no, this is mine. Push.
No, we'll get one each.
I'm never gonna be like, hey Sam, I can't be like friends with you because like my kid hates your kid. So I'm sorry. Like we just gotta stop being mates.
Just leave the kids at home.
We've got this on camera, yeah.
You know the future dream that we had where like our kids marry each other, like that can't happen and I just can't ever see you again. I'm sorry. Like
Oh my god.
it's fine. But yeah, like kids are usually just friends based on absolutely nothing.
And yeah, kids fight all the time.
Yeah.
Like love, hate all the time. All the time. It'll be fine.
So with being like, let's say if your kids, and I'm pretty sure I know how Viu might feel about this because this is borderline toxic masculinity. But like telling your kid to stand up for themselves, is that a good advice or bad advice?
I would tell them that.
You would tell them. Isn't that
tell
toxic
them
masculinity?
No. There's not. It
Why do
doesn't
you
ma-
think it's
not a gender
toxic
thing.
masculinity?
Yeah, why?
Well, if
Why?
I'm thinking as a perspective of like if it was my
if I
son,
have a girl? Oh.
right, and you tell them like, oh, come on, you can do it. Just, like,
Why
step
wouldn't
up.
you say that to your daughter?
Yeah, why? It should
Like, would it be-
apply.
is that toxic masculinity if I still say it?
Why?
No,
Why is it? Why,
that's,
what about
that's
that is
not
mask?
the right.
Because it's equivalent of saying man up, go do it.
Nope.
Or that's maybe just
That's
your mentality
different.
thinking that it's a masculine thing to stand up for yourself.
So you would say that, though.
If you say man up, that's like the toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like defend yourself. Like that's fine. That's not that. Like I would say
Defend
that.
yourself, actually.
Like I wouldn't be.
Sorry,
down-
I'm just surprised as like liberal as you are.
Look,
it's
I'm
like
not a
fair.
violent person, and I'm not gonna like
Exactly,
tell my kid to
yeah.
be violent. But I want them to like stand up for themselves. Right? There's other ways of standing up
Yeah.
for yourself rather than just like beating someone up.
Yeah, that's verbal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if he does that, or if they do that,
If
Yeah, I was
they
like, why are you
Say-
assuming
sorry,
it's a
sorry.
guy only?
Again, it's toxic masculinity.
so if they stand up for themselves in a physical way,
Yes.
I wouldn't
Oh.
necessarily reward that. I would reward the instincts, but not like the way that they did it. Right? Does that make sense? And like tell them like there is a difference between like this particular instinct and then like the way you go about expressing this.
Yeah.
You know?
Like it shouldn't be your first method of reconciliation.
Yeah, and especially when there's schools that just have zero tolerance these days.
Yeah.
They don't need to know which direction it comes from. It's just if it happens, then you're out.
Yeah.
And it's like, do you really want to throw your life away because of like someone who did this thing to you? You know, that's me.
Yeah.
Sam, Jenny?
Actions speak louder than words in that sense. Like I don't think you should result in physically defending yourself. Yeah. So I wouldn't say like man up or like I would say defend yourself. And in what manner would probably be more communication than.
So you have to, pretty much, you have to tread lightly when you say stand up for yourself. In other words,
I would. I'd probably explain what stand up for yourself means.
I think you would be as specific as you can while also allowing your child to like not completely absorb that information because they're a child. And if they do stand up for themselves physically, then like again explain it to them again, but like not make them feel in such a way as like, oh, I did what you told me to do. Like, why are you punishing me now? You know what I mean? Like, let them know the difference between it. It's a fine line. As you grow older, you understand that gray area more, right? And so I think for like a 5-year-old, the way you explain that concept is like really different than a 15-year-old, for example. And so you just got to like attune to both.
Yeah.
okay,
I agree.
Jenny.
Yeah, same with their view. I mean, I feel like with kids nowadays, it's a lot harder to. You got to pick your words right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And because our society is more woke than it was before, we aren't allowed to say words that we used to say, and it was fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the grey area is bigger.
Yeah, agree.
In that way, I think. In like life concepts, like
Yeah.
that's sort of remained the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like in the words they you can and cannot use or gender and stuff like like that's a bit more
Yeah.
grey.
Yeah.
What are you finishing? Sorry, continue.
No, that's all.
What about you, Luke?
What?
Yes.
Are you? So it seems like you view that in a male perspective, right? Like, would you say that to your daughter and like be mad at her if she like physically responds?
Nah.
Okay.
I think maybe you and me have like more of a traditional stance in like what men do and like how men are supposed to look and what women traditionally like and what they're good at, that kind of thing.
Right.
Right. That's why I say.
I would be on the similar side, I think.
Okay.
Why is that? Just out of curiosity.
Are you asking me or are you asking
All
everyone?
three.
All
of
three
you.
of us.
Yeah, the three of you that share a similar idea right now.
Like
Yeah.
I
Obviously,
think
upbringing.
yeah,
That's a big thing.
I think I might still say man up to my kid if,
Okay.
rather than I mean stand just whatever comes to my head first. It's not like I have one or the other.
Okay.
I think it's
But what
just-
you say is important though.
Yeah,
How
of
you
course.
say it.
Of course.
I think it's just the picture of in my head of what a dad should be like. Someone who protects, someone who takes care of their kids, defend them from anything bad and whatnot, and stand strong.
So you're saying, but is it different for a boy and a girl?
And is it different for like a father and a mother? Like a mother wouldn't say that to her son?
Mother would also, but like, again, toxic masculinity, how a man teaches a boy how to throw a ball, even though I can't throw for shit. But like, you know what I mean? It's that kind of stuff. Like a woman will teach their daughter about period and whatnot. Like it's a more expertise than that with me, right? So like a man has more duties when it comes to their son than a mum does. Yes, you can educate yourself and do it and find out. Does that make sense? That's how I just see it. Yeah.
You identified it as toxic masculinity, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So it in some way is a bad thing.
Yeah.
Why continue it?
Why continue it?
Yeah. Why let it, you know?
I guess due to the fact, let's say with bullying, right, there aren't such huge extremes that I've seen with toxic masculinity that has pushed it to say, oh, toxic masculinity is really bad. Does that make sense? Like we know bullying can lead to like shooting and whatnot and all that. We've seen that. Toxic masculinity has been a debate over the entire period of like the last decades or so. Yes, but we still accept it. It's part of life currently. Am I wrong?
I mean, it's there. Yeah.
Yeah,
like
it's
you're
fair.
not wrong.
It's like it's not. I don't feel like it's going anywhere any soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, like, it's fair. Like, it's not going anywhere wrong. Do you think it's a 100% bad thing? Asking back to you. Is it 100%
I mean,
bad
by
thing?
definition, toxic, right? I mean, like, that's
got
not...
that
Besides
word.
definition.
Great.
Is it...
What do you mean?
No, like, besides the word toxic, right? Yes. All the values that result from toxic masculinity, is all of it a bad thing?
I'm pretty sure the definition.
Maybe educate
gotta-
educate myself on, like, give me an example of toxic masculinity.
Yeah. Look, how about...
let's-
'cause
yeah,
he's
let's go
the
there.
one
He's
that's...
brought it
right?
up. Yeah.
Is teaching someone the right way due to their gender? Or say, enforcing specific rules.
Gender-specific
Yeah,
rules.
specific rules onto a specific gender.
Like a man can't cook kind of thing because women cook. Like, is that an example?
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you shouldn't learn how to cook because a woman's going to cook for you.
Yeah.
That's toxic
But
masculinity.
For
Yeah,
me,
okay.
I would rely on the core values, or like the better values. Like, a man should protect their family. Not saying a woman can't, but a man should protect their family.
I would say that's toxic mask, right? And
Yeah.
like, not that necessarily is a bad thing, but why does it got to be gendered, bro? You know, that's my thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like, why we got to limit it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
why can't your wife
That's right. Like,
take care of the family?
yeah,
right?
exactly. But I would like to teach my son like this. I would teach my daughter to be independent, to be strong.
Yeah,
But those two,
but not protect their family
because
that's the job of their
I'll hope
husband.
that their husband will be protecting them. Because like a daughter, I want someone to take care. Yes, they can be independent, but I want someone to take care of my daughter if I pass away.
Okay, I'll give you like a very real example. My partner is a doctor. She will forever and always probably earn more than I do. I know how to cook and clean. I'm very good at those things. In essence, she is the breadwinner. I'm like, the person, the
Yes.
homemaker, right?
Trophy wife.
Yeah, the trophy wife. I think I proudly say any chance I get. But so our roles are like flipped, right? Like stereotypically. Her parents are also that too. So her mum earns more money and then her dad's the stay-at-home parent, right? Like, what in this particular dynamic doesn't work for you? Like, why? Like, that is that
Well,
incongruent?
It's not that it doesn't work.
Who do you think is going to protect the family?
Yeah.
In that regard.
I
You
would
think
still
it's
hope
Vu?
Vu. I would still hope Vu.
I mean, yeah.
If a zombie is coming for the family, like let's say apocalypse, if a zombie is coming for their family, I hope Vu it would like jump from.
Would you not have
Maurice.
that expectation for my partner too? Like that she will also protect our family?
Honestly, she has. Wait, I see it. She technically, no offense, she technically has more value because of being a doctor, and you should do
Christ.
all your costs to protect her.
Jesus.
Oh.
In the event of the apocalypse,
In the
because
event
she can like heal
apocalypse.
people and shit. This is so cool.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I know we're talking about bullying, but
The
yeah.
value proposition of my life aside, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
the gendered role, like, does it not matter that there's just someone in there doing that? Like, why does it? Like,
No, it's
why does it got to
completely
be
fine.
me? What does it got to be me?
What?
You know? What does it got to be me that like protects the family? Why can't I talk to my daughter about like periods and shit?
Can you?
Yeah, I can educate myself.
Yeah, you can
And
educate
I am.
yourself.
I
Yeah,
am educated.
Exactly.
right?
Like I said, you can educate yourself to do that. But for my
But isn't it a crutch to say that you can lean on like a gender's experience of a thing and have them deal with that in that particular facet, and you can just deal with your own shit?
right?
Isn't it a crutch? Like,
It is a crutch. I'll admit that. But like I said, I'll still teach my son the ways, right, to respect women, to take care of women, right? And I would still teach my daughter to be independent and so forth. Like, is there anything wrong with that?
that doesn't sound like a gender thing. You're just teaching respectfulness.
Yeah, exactly. But it could be as well. I would also say it's toxic due to the fact that it comes from my own values of what a man should be.
I don't think that's the case. Like, because it can come from like those ideals, but the fact that you're teaching them on, like, it doesn't mean it's a bad thing. Because you're taking the good part of that, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's my entire point. I'm taking
then
the
it's
good.
not toxic.
But but labeling it as toxic is like that, right?
But like you said, I could switch genders and say it to different. Like I could.
So
have
if you
said,
were a woman, would you teach your son and your daughter different things?
I don't think you can.
I can't
Yeah,
say
you
that.
can't really say that. Yeah,
I can't really say that.
yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
It's not a situation.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, my entire life, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Anyways,
Yeah, let's
we
move
might go
on.
to another point and
Yeah, let's
talk
move
about
on.
this.
Yeah. Okay.
further on
Okay.
because
Okay.
we
No,
ventured
we'll
off.
leave that there.
Yeah.
I think this speaks to a fundamental experience, like difference of life experience that we have.
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
I don't think we both know where we land on this. It doesn't mean there's
yeah.
any love lost, but
yeah.
yeah.
Jenny and I.
I know. It's like watching tennis. Back and forth. Move on.
Oh yeah, we just. Oh, that was a huge tangent. Not gonna lie.
yeah. It was.
Such a big
I don't even
tangent.
remember how we got it from. Oh, it was a whole manning up thing.
You brought up the situation.
Yeah, but it was a whole manning up thing for
Yeah.
the child, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, I hope our listeners enjoy that. If you guys want to listen more about that, we were happy to discuss.
Bro, let's not introduce strife into our friendship. How about that, bro? It's fine.
All right, so let's just go to the concluding question. What advice do you have for the audience if they were on the receiving end of being bullied?
Man up now.
Talk it out with your friends. Discuss the situation. Assess the situation.
Yeah, I
Speak
think
to the bully.
Yeah, I think confront the bully if you, after going through all your avenues of like communication through friends
Yeah.
and family, and really understand what the root problem is. If they're just doing it for fun, all of that, and then I would say confront the bully and really express how you're feeling. Especially if that person is someone that you consider a friend, I think you should express how you're feeling.
Yeah. Getting bullied as an adult is like a different thing, right?
Yeah,
like
that's so unnecessary.
because it's not necessary, and to even like use the term like I'm getting bullied is like kind of like there's like gravity to that, right?
Yeah.
As an adult,
Yeah.
like, you know.
Because I think we obviously now understand the levels of bullying and the severities of bullying and the repercussions of bullying.
Yeah.
That,
And just with life experience, you
Yeah.
kind of have a thicker skin, right? So
Yeah.
it's like if you call it bullying, it's like it kind of is. It's not like, oh, I misinterpreted the situation,
it's
once
more
or
of a
twice.
serious matter. Yeah, I agree.
I guess my advice is more just like figuring out how much this matters to you. Like if it should bother you this much, and look, if it does bother you that much, then you're valid in that. And if it's in a workplace or like a professional setting, like there are
Avenues.
legal and professional ways to like deal with that, and don't just like deal. But if it's a friendship situation, then I think like you kind of just have to communicate and like figure out if this friendship is like healthy or worth it for you, that type of stuff. But yeah.
Look, I would say if you're dealing with bullying, if it gets just so bad that you personally can't handle it, find a third party to get involved, or even leave a workplace if that is within the workplace.
Yeah, hopefully it doesn't lead to that point.
Yeah, like coming from, I don't know, sorry. If you want to confront it, go ahead, but just make sure you are in the right space. You have all the facts, you have all the details, like these guys have said. Just be very sure of yourself. There are sometimes two sides of a story. Yes, sometimes with bullying, it is one-sided. Is it one-sided?
Yeah.
Yeah. And things that we may perceive as bullying can be not bullying. But again, it's due to our own perception. But yeah, just get your own information first. We are our worst enemy, so we can overthink and assume wrong things and whatnot. Not saying that
It's true.
If
You
you are
can attach
actually
to
getting,
it.
if you are
Yeah.
actually getting bullied, then
Yeah.
yes, say something, but don't like gaslight yourself to not saying that it isn't bullying. Anyways, my point is find a third party. Don't listen or listen to others, not just yourself, and hope you live happy.
And get through it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got this.
Yeah.
You got this, friend.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening on today's episode on bullying. We shall see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, if you liked the episode, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button.
You can listen to us weekly on Spotify or watch us on YouTube.
If you're interested in more content, check out our Instagram and TikTok.
Comment on any of our platforms if you have a question or a topic that you want us to cover.
See you guys next time.
Bye.